And welcome back, everyone. Welcome back. Hope you enjoyed that small break here as we have wrapped up our semifinals and now we've made it to the grand finals of the WTL 2024 Summer KungFu Cup round number 1. It's been quite a long event here. It's been 4.5 hours, almost 5 hours already, and we've made it to the grand finals. 2 players remain. We've had them coming in from all around the world. We had Clem, we had Showtime, we had Dark, we had Spirit, Lambo. But now we're down to 2 remaining players, Reynor and Classic. It is going to be a Zerg versus Protoss matchup in a best of 5. Vetoes are done, and we're loading into game number 1 on Alkione. As we get ready for our first game, as we get ready for the grand finals, predictions in the chat will soon be open. Predictions in the chat, they are open. Place your bets on how you believe this series will unfold and who you think is going to be this week's champion. Will it be our Zerg or our Protoss, Reynor or Classic? Up to you to decide. Best of luck. Best of luck, my predictions. Open. Best of luck is spawning in the bottom left hand corner of Alkione. We have our South Korean Protoss player, the Red Protoss representing Twisted Minds. It is Classic. And spawning in the top right hand corner, we have as opponent, we have the Italian Zerg player, the Blue Zerg representing Basilisk. It is Reynor. And Reynor already popping off, already being cheeky here, going for a 15-15, but not the most standard of 15-15 openers. He's rushing into the gold. Very interesting build here. So a 15 hatchery into a 15 spawning pool followed by delayed gases. Gases are delayed. We're not rushing into we're not going for a roach rush, not going for a bane bus, but we are being quite greedy here, and we'll see if we can get away with it as Classic. He is moving out across the map. He does not confirm the natural location. Not yet. There's that spawning pool on the way from Reynor. Again, delayed gases. The probe is going to confirm the gases have not been taken. They confirm the pool timing, and we are now looking for the hatchery. Now, Classic has dealt with this before, because Classic is from the same region as Dark, and Dark, he loves rushing to this goal base on this map. We've seen it time and time again, week after week, against Hero, against Nightmare, against Classic. Dark does rush into this, and how do we respond? With a Forge. We delay the expansion. We're going for a cannon rush to punish this base. This is a very common response. Both Classic and Hero, mainly the Korean Protoss players, have embraced this cannon rush response. We pull the boys, but the wall is solid. The pylon finishes. Cannons are on the way. We throw down the spine crawler as a response. Thankfully, it was a pull after the hatchery, so it was a bit of a safer opener here from Reynor. But this cannon is going to finish. The cannon will finish, and how many cannons is the real question. There we go, second cannon on the way. Zealot has arrived. We do get some good surface area on that pylon, on that cannon, but it is going to finish, and damage is going to be done. The spine crawler will help, but this is about to get rowdy. This is about to get a little bit insane. There we go, the cannon does finish. We take down one of those drones. Oh, we do force, oh god, drone does go down. Clean micro out of Reynor, but does lose the worker in the end. Spine crawler is repositioning, but is within range of both these cannons. Yeah, forces it to unburrow, and Reynor, he's in a lot of trouble. He's in so much trouble. Cheeky move rushing into this goal base, but again, at Classic, he's so well prepared, so well rehearsed when it comes to dealing with this build. And the cannons will get a kill, 100%. The base is going to go down. Reynor, he gets knocked down to 1 mining base. He's forced to expand elsewhere, and Classic, he's in a good position. He's ahead. Again, that's a kill on the hatchery. Honestly, Classic could even try to cannon rush the natural. Again, he could try to go for a second cannon rush, but he doesn't need to. He's already ahead at this point. Taking his own natural base, getting into a depth, suit to harass. Lings are being shut down. The other scary thing, because it was a 15-15, late gases, which means late link speed. Link speed is later than normal, and it means that Reynor can't really be active. He can't really be aggressive the way that he wanted to be. Has to wait a little bit longer for link speed to kick in. And the pressure is on Reynor. The pressure is on. And as we're settling into our game here, a big shout out to Rowbags in the chat. Oh my god, for subscribing for 8 months with Twitch Prime. Thank you so much for the support as well. Quack, Papi, Quack. Hope you've been enjoying the content. Hope you enjoy the tournament and our grand finals as well. Welcome, Papi, welcome. Gracias, Papi, gracias. Bienvenidos. As the adepts, they have arrived. They punish the Lings. Again, Link speed is so late, it's still not kicking in. A lot of Lings get shaved off. As it finally does complete, and we can finally shut down these adepts. They come in for a surround. Good positioning here. One adept gets surrounded, so does the other. And Classic is punished for overextending. But again, overall, Classic, he's ahead in workers, he's ahead in bases, or he's already getting saturated on 2 bases. Reynor just now joining up. Creep is spreading, at least. You know, there's a tuber being active over on the right-hand side. But outside of that, Classic is in control. And he's moving out with his first Oracle. Our Lings are going to be able to make an Orchid to expand, and they will delay a 3rd base. That is true. We even keep the Oracle at home for a moment there, but for the most part, just slow and steady here for Classic, waiting for another Oracle before we can expand. As we get ready for this, speaking of resubscribing, Papi, Facer in the chat, Faster, Facer213, thank you so much for resubscribing for 10 months. Oh my god, we've already had a child together. It's been so long. Thank you so much for the support. God, Papi God, thank you so much. Thanks to all the support that we get in the chat, we're actually able to host our events, tournaments like Sparkling Tuna Cup, Sea Duckling Open, Master Sword Open. It's thanks to you guys that we're able to not just cast, but also fund our own tournaments as well. Thank you. Gracias, Papi, gracias. Thank you so much. Hope you enjoy the emotes, hope you enjoy the content, hope you enjoy the casting, hope you enjoy the StarCraft. As our Oracles are moving out. Again, 2 Oracles can one-shot drones. Queens are in position, though. Very nice positioning here. Good target firing as well. As we get 1 drone in the main, only 1. Good defense out of Reynor, making the best out of a bad situation. But Classic can still expand. He's still expanding, still is ahead in the economy. Transitioning into his Forge, into +1. Twilight Council's on the way, should be +1 and Blink. And I like that Classic's still being active here because he has an outpost. He has these cannons and a shield battery as well. Was still not cleaned up. So Classic has a safe location to fall back to. Now, thankfully, Reynor's also able to make use of his Spine Crawler. But we have more Adepts on the way. We are getting ready to shade in as 3 Oracles make their way into the natural. Queens are out of position. 4 drones go down. 5 drones even. 6 drones in total. Classic threatening a shade towards that mineral line. There are Lings in position, but Lings are not good enough. Good positioning here by the Adepts behind the mineral line. Lings are going down. Good target firing on the drones. We get 7 in total. Ooh, we get an 8th drone as well. And this is not even Classic's final form. Behind this, we still have Blink. We still have +1. We're still working on that next step. As Reynor bleeds out another drone. The Oracle's coming down! The Queens are busy. They're busy dealing with the Adepts. And just like that, 17 drones go down. Oof. We annihilate an entire mineral line. And what can Reynor do from here? He's trying to go for a counterattack, but back at home we have Sentries, we have Stalkers, no shield battery, no overcharge. Classic is a little bit vulnerable, but he's got plenty of units. He's fine. Doesn't even need the shield battery. He will defend. As he's setting up his outpost, reinforcing with a 3rd pylon. As we get ready to get into Classic's follow-up with Blink Stalkers, a shout out to the Andariel in the chat. Papi. Thank you so much, Papi. Gracias, gracias. Even starting up almost a hype train. Thank you so much. Do I enjoy the emotes? Thanks for the casting and the community tournaments. You're welcome, Papi. You're welcome. We do what we can. Always, Papi, always. For many years, we do what we can. Doing our part for StarCraft. As always. Thank you so much. You've had a lot of children with a lot of people. This is true. you don't have to point it out like that though. Oh my god. Calm down. It's fine. We like it, man. We like it. As here we go. Classic forcing his way in. Force fields are thrown down. We have Queens to defend, but where are the Lings? Where are the Roaches? Nowhere in sight. As again, Classic just having too much of a lead, too much momentum in this game. Lings are getting ready for a surround, but we have Oracles to support. Blink kicks in as well. And Classic is snowballing out of control. There's no dealing with this army. Again, the cannon rush was just too much to handle. GG gets called and Classic takes game number 1. Ooh. GG. For StarCraft. Exactly. For StarCraft, Papi. For StarCraft. Thank you so much. Thank you, Leondario. Gracias. GG. Classic will take the first game. And again, winding it back if you weren't here for the beginning, Reynor was going for a cheeky move. He did go for the goal base first. It was a 15-15. But as we were talking about, as we were mentioning, Classic and Hero as an example, they're both very well rehearsed here in this response to go for the Forge, to go for the Cannon Rush. It's a very unique response. I'm not so certain if we have seen many of the Europeans go for this response, but we see it a lot against Dark, and we have this kind of back and forth dynamic. And yeah, Classic was so quick to deal with that, throw down the cannons, and unfortunately Reynor just could not deal with that, was caught out, and with the death of that initial base, Reynor was on the back foot. It was an uphill battle from that moment. GG, with that, Classic takes a lead, but I mentioned before, I expect a back and forth. I am not expecting a 3-0 in either direction, whether it was Reynor 3-0ing or Classic 3-0ing, not at all. I'm expecting more of a back and forth, and here we go. It's going to be on Reynor to bounce back on Crimson Court. Oh boy. Crimson Court is coming up next. Now, because it's a best of 5, we do have some room to work with. Even though Classic did take the first game, Reynor has room to maneuver, and he can afford a loss here and there. He's not up against the wall yet, and we'll see if we can bounce back. Here we go. As spawning in the top right-hand corner of Crimson Court, we have the South Korean Protoss player, the Red Protoss, representing Twisted Minds. It's leading the series 1-0. It is Classic. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the Italian Zerg player, the Blue Zerg, representing Basilisk. Down in this series, but looking to bounce back here in Game 2. It is Reynor. And Classic has a lot more on the line, to be honest. I mentioned this a couple of days ago during ESL Open Cup Asia, but right now there's a lot more pressure on Classic to do well in these online tournaments and these online weeklies. The reason for that, if you are maybe unfamiliar, I know the season of GSL hasn't begun yet, but Classic did fail to qualify. He's crazy, he's doing it again! Reynor! Rushing into the forward base has his natural, very bold move. We'll see if he can get away with it. We'll see if Classic can punish this hatchery. Does he go for another cannon rush? Looks like he's going for the Nexus. But again, Classic, he is not a Code S player. Fun fact, which is crazy, by the way. Classic is top 2 Protoss in Korea, and Classic did not make it into Code S, which is brutal. It just goes to show like how brutal the qualifiers are, and how cutthroat the Korean scene is. So because of that, again, Classic, he's got that much more on the line here in ESL Open Cup Asia, in KSL, in KungFu Cup, in WTL. He does need to focus on these online tournaments that much more because he's not in GSL. So a fire has been lit under him. Does end up confirming the opener. This time not going for a cannon rush. It's going to be a gate expand into Cybercore, standard opener out of Classic. I'm a little bit surprised. I was expecting at least a 2-gate opener, but no, there is no second gateway. So we'll see how Classic responds. Now with this forward base, this usually leads into a roach all-in. The reason for this is, 1, the Respecting Gas Geyser gives you a boost when it comes to your gas income. Likewise, your creep is spreading quite quickly across the map. It's already halfway across because of the base, and it can just launch forward, reduce the rush time, the rush distance, and allow you to get into a Roach Queen based all-in. That's typically where this leads us. We'll see if Reynor makes use of that. Meanwhile, we have our opener, Twilight Council. Makes sense. Classic needs to punish this. He cannot let this get up and running, cannot let Reynor get away with this, and this base is vulnerable, is exposed. Can we punish it though as we're going for a Twilight Council? No Robo, we don't pull out a gas. I'm curious where this is leading. Show us what you got. There it is. Gateway gets thrown down, Robo as well. Are we going for a Dark Shrine? I mean, if we are, it's going to be a little bit delayed. It's a little bit off center. Gateways are finishing up. Or additional gateways get thrown down. It's going to be 4 gates in total. Glaives are on the way. We haven't pulled out a gas. This is interesting. So this could lead into 6k Glaive Adepts. This could be a 2-base all-in. This could also lead into Glaive Adepts and a Dark Shrine as well. The reason why I'm saying this is that you would typically pull off of gas. And okay, there we go. We are now pulling off of gas. It is just going to be 4-gate Blink. Sorry, 4-gate Glaives. And we'll see if Reynor can get a read on this. So Reynor, he confirms that Warp Gate wasn't cancelled, so he should be aware to open up defensively. In a couple of seconds, we should be seeing a Roach Warren, and there it is. Roach Warren gets thrown down just before the 4-minute mark. Get a very safe Roach Warren timing. Very safe. Likewise, we should soon be seeing Spores. We should be seeing Spores in a couple of seconds as well, in case it's a DT opener. Again, Reynor's working with incomplete information. Lings are amassing as we speak. Classic is pushing. It does reveal the Adepts. Reynor, he can choose to skip his Spores, by the way. He has seen enough. And it looks like he is skipping those Spores. It is a risky maneuver. It could be Glaive Adepts plus Dark Templar. We can see that thankfully that is not the case. And Reynor, he cuts workers at 37 before 40. How many queens? 5 queens. A good amount of Lings. He's amassing roaches as we speak, taking his Resting Gas Geyser. And the pressure is on Classic. He needs to get some damage done. Now, this is not an all-in. It's only 4-gate Glaives, which means we're expanding. The 3rd base is on the way. But we still need to break through, and as we mentioned, like, we're spitting creep as we speak. Reynor, he's getting ready for his own counterattack after we defend. Lings are going down. We don't commit to the shade. More roaches are amassing. The longer this goes on, the better it is for Reynor. Prism slips into the main base. Here we go. We dive on top of the queens. We commit to the shade. We get into that mineral line. 4 drones go down. Likewise, Depths, they get into the main, but Lings are in position. Reynor's keeping up. We do deny the Spore. And we're going to be diving on top of the queens. We do have a transfuse, barely keeping the queen alive. Reynor having a hard time trading, but Adepts, they shade into the main. Once again, they do warp in. There's still no 3rd base in sight. Classic getting into Immortal production. Does get 8 drones, but is that enough damage? I don't think so. Going for another warp into the main base. Denying a little mining time still. That is true. But the Prism is forced back. And Classic, I would be okay with this if he had a 3rd, but the 3rd base is still not thrown down. Was denied earlier. And we're in an interesting game state. Very interesting. Reynor's drone count is a little bit low. That is true. Ooh, as we commit to the shade. The drone count is a little bit low, but we have the Resting Gas Geyser, so we can make up for that. More denied mining time here at the natural. Threatening the main. The queen's having a hard time keeping up. Getting another drone. 2 in total. You can see that Classic is microing his heart out. He knows that he has to get as much value as he can. In total, he killed 11 drones. That's okay. Not ideal. Now, thankfully, Classic has Immortals. There is no shield battery, which is concerning. Either at the natural or the 3rd base. No shield battery yet. Roaches are amassing. Reynor is running up to 51. Now, with the arrival of this lair, we should be working towards Roach speed. Roach speed should be on the way as Classic slips into the main. Does slip into the main base. Does target fire a lot of drones. 6 drones going to be going down. The main army does push forward. We have some force fields. Force fields are available. We got 6 drones in the main and the natural. Pretty good damage so far. Not too bad. You have Ravagers. Classic has to take care. Ooh, as we bleed out those Adepts. Prism force back. The Immortal within range of the Gas Geyser does take it down. Honestly, that's a pretty big pickoff. Reynor, he's only on 1 Gas Geyser, by the way. Can't really allow himself to, or can't really afford too many more Ravagers and Roaches. Nice pickoff at a Classic. Prism coming back in. Threatening another drop. There's nothing in it, but Reynor doesn't know that. And Classic is still waiting to pounce on this army. Has a lot of force fields. is paying attention. Does confirm that the gas wasn't retaken yet. Just now. Does catch some roaches. Up! Gets a Ravager. Good pick up. Ravager goes down. Reynor breaks out. We can rotate around once again. We can deny that gas geyser. Classic, just non-stop aggression here. Not making it easy for Reynor to even mine from any of his bases. Catch out an Overlord, rotating over towards the fourth. Adepts they get into the main. Leagues are in position. But solid force fields in the base. It's going to be denied. We force a cancel. Now, Classic has to be careful because he's running out of force fields, running out of energy. He's got maybe 3 force fields left, at least 2. Bordering on 3. There we go. Is within range once again of the gas geyser. It's a drone, rotates around, containing Reynor's 3 bases. And this army is massive, by the way, from Classic. He's done such a great job of preserving his units, preserving his immortals. And has so many adepts. Does take a ball to the face. Oh my god, but the shade is insane. And do we commit? Banelings, they're looking for a way in. We do commit with at least some of them. Banelings push forward. The immortals are exposed. Banelings, they crash into the sentries. Big connections. And 1 immortal goes down. At the same time, adepts, they get cleaned up in the main. Classic running out of steam. They still has a lot of immortals available. Forced to pull back. Files, ooh, they do connect. Triggering the shield, they're running out of buffer. The immortals are exposed. And Classic is running out of support here for his immortals. They're going down. Reynor forcing this back. We do have another warp in though. Classic holding on. Barely saves some of those immortals. Rotates around. Can take down the gas geyser once again. Good pickup. Reynor's still stuck on 3 bases, but he has a solid army he holds. And Classic backs off. Whew. Classic does back off. Now, because Classic saved all these immortals, he's not going to die. Like, Reynor, he can't punish his opponent. He can't quite counterattack. Reynor desperately trying to get a 4th base. And the other scary thing, a big reason why Classic has been so aggressive and so successful, no creep. No creep whatsoever out of Reynor. He has no presence on the map. Very limited time to react. He's been losing his overlords. No vision. Reynor stuck at 50 workers, but he's massing up Lingbane. No shield battery here at the center base from Classic. This still feels very much on a knife's edge. Oh my god. File's going to be going up. Prism into the main. Mortals have to be careful. Files do graze them. At the same time, Prism does slip in. Adepts once again into the main base. Roach speed isn't done. Wait, what? Roach speed heavily delayed here. I didn't even realize. That also makes sense as to why Reynor was having such a hard time keeping up with the movement of Classic. Roach speed just now finishing. And this means that Reynor can push. Reynor, we can be a little bit more active here, but how many immortals do we have? 8 immortals. Prism gets in, takes a lot of hits. The Prism is going to be able to barely escape. Just barely. 4th base is up, but Reynor's all in. Reynor, he's cutting workers at 50, has opted not to drone that 4th base. He's just maxing out on Lingbane Roach Ravager, but Classic, his army supply is insane. Good force field is all we need. And again, still no shield battery at the center base. No shield battery. We are set up at the 3rd, not at the 4th. Storm is about to finish. Reynor ready for a multi-prong attack. We're going to hit the 4th and the 3rd. And we're pushing in. We are committing. Classic late to respond, but yeah, Storm. Oh. Yeah, Storm available. Bailey's they roll in, and the Zealots they cannot engage. They try to. Decent storms. Adepts harassing across the map. Reynor pushing in. Oh, he takes some big storms to the face. The Baileys, they do not connect. At the same time, the Roach Ravager gets completely cleaned up. GG gets called. Classic shuts Reynor down. And Classic takes a 2-0 lead. Whew. GG. GG, well played. Once again, Reynor attempting to get away with some greed. It was in game 1 where Reynor went for the goal base on Alcyone as a natural. Here in game 2, Reynor went for the forward Rich Vesting Gas Geyser base. Very exposed bases in both games, and in both games, Classic punishes him. Again, they have practice against Dark. Like, Dark, very similarly, does enjoy taking up or taking these more exposed bases and getting away with murder and snowballing out of control. Remember, Classic responded with Glaive Adepts, did do an okay amount of damage. It did feel like Reynor, for the most part, had held against the first Glaive Adept push, but it was the follow-up. It was the Immortals, it was the continued Adept Warp in, it was the Sentries as well. It was in that second push, in the second wave, that's where Classic was able to outtrade Reynor, able to deny the fourth over and over again, deny the creep, deny the Rich Vesting Gas Geyser, pick off Ravagers, pick off drones. That was when, and that was where, Classic got ahead. GG. GG, well played, and now Classic needs one more. Oromas to win it all and be our champion. The pressure is now on Reynor. I said before that Reynor, he had some breathing room, he had some time, he had some games to, you know, maybe warm up or even drop here and there, but not anymore. Not anymore. As one more loss will spell the end for Reynor. We'll see if we can bring it all back. As game number 3 is on Ghost River. Oh boy, Ghost River, for those who are unaware, Ghost River, it is the shortest rush distance map in the map pool. Very short, even shorter than Hard Lead last season, which was the previous season's shortest rush distance map in the map pool. 31 seconds from main to main, even less time from natural to natural. So yeah, you can be quite aggressive on this map. We've seen a lot of Ling Bane all-ins, we've seen a lot of Roach Queen all-ins as well. Seen a lot of aggression from the Zerg side and from the Protoss side as well. Oh boy, so we'll see where this takes us. This could be a short game, and I'm hoping, I'm praying, I'm cheering for Reynor. I just want more games. Give me more games, Pappy. I want a back and forth. I want more games. Ideally, I would love to see an ace match, regardless of how this goes the way of Reynor or the way of Classic. I would love to see a game 5. But the pressure is on Reynor. Here we go. And spawning in the top left-hand corner of Ghost River, we have our South Korean Protoss player, the Red Protoss, representing Twisted Minds and leading the series 2-0. One game away from becoming this week's KungFu Cup champion. It is Classic. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have as opponent, we have the Italian Zerg player, the Blue Zerg representing Basilisk. The pressure is on, he has to fight back here and now to force, to even have a chance to get into the ace match. It is Reynor. And interesting, Reynor going for a 14 hatchery into a 15 spawning pool. A very safe opener out of Reynor. Very interesting. Okay. I do like this. Considering how aggressive or how risky Reynor has been playing this entire series, it's a big reason as to why he's now at a deficit and why he's been struggling, is he has been punished time and time again. Now a very safe build. 14 hatch, 15 pool into delayed gases. This will allow us to expand on location. This will allow us to get into earlier queen production and settle down into our game. So a very safe opener. And meanwhile, back at home, Classic going for a gate expand. Standard opener out of Classic. Ooh, just catching up with the chat. So many good Protosses coming back from the military. I need Zest back. True. For those who maybe didn't hear, regarding like returning military Protoss players, I believe Trap finishes his military service today. Is it today or tomorrow? Either today or tomorrow, Trap is completing his military service. And there have been some photos coming out. Potentially, Trap is going to be coming back to the game. We'll see. You know, Rogue just came back. like a month ago. Trap might be returning as well. I'm sure Gemini is excited in more ways than one. Oh no. So yeah, we'll see. We'll see if the Wing Commander returns. We shall see. Likewise, Zest, I think he's still a couple of months or like a year off. I'm not so certain as to when Zest returns. Just know the Trap is coming back. Or is finishing his military. As we have this, oh, we barely get the pilot block. Classic! Oh my god, that was so clutch. That was quite smooth, actually. First pylon goes down, second pylon goes down. This is brutal as we deny the third base, and Reynor is contained to 2 bases. Because of the map, because we are on Ghost River, there's only 1 third base. There's no other expansion here. There's no other way, there's no other base to take. And the Adept arrives. The pylon is cancelled, and Reynor is stuck on 2 bases. The role of this Adept is to deny any kind of base, and remember, because of the delayed gas, delayed link speed, it means that the Adept is not going to be dealt with as we shut down one of the drones, but we're able to expand finally. As the Adept moves out of position, Reynor does expand. But that could have been so much worse. I mean, that was already a good start for Classic. Could have been so much worse. Classic was distracted, did kill a drone at least. Now he's coming in with 2 more Adepts. And denying the third base the way that he did is possible because of how short the rush distance is on Ghost River. Takes less time for the probe to get across the map, takes less time for the Adepts to get across the map as well. Oracle's on the way. It was a Stargate opener out of Classic. Adepts towards the main. Ooh, forcing an overreaction. Reynor feeling a little bit nervous. Reynor definitely on edge here. The Oracle gets in. We get 1 drone. We get 2 drones in the main. Ay, ay, ay. And we're not done. We have the second Oracle moving out. Classic is spinning, taking his third base. Classic with, I would say, a bit of a slight lead. Not the most substantial of leads, don't get me wrong. Reynor is still in this, but Classic, he's looking for now, at least in control. Oracle threatens the third base, delays some mining time. Looking to dive into the main. And we have our follow-up. Good positioning with the Queens. A lot of hull damage on at least that second Oracle. Stay strapped behind this. Good target firing at a Reynor. Okay, we're tightening up. We're good. We're looking solid here. The Overlord. What did we confirm, by the way? We saw the third Oracle, but that's all we saw. That's a Gateway Explosion. That's a Twilight Council on the way. I don't see a Forge. This could be one of 2 things. This could be Glaive Adepts, or it could be a Blink All In. There it is. Glaives is on the way. The reason why it's Glaives, there's no Forge. No Forge, no upgrades. 5 gateways in total. This is gonna blindside Reynor, or it's designed to blindside Reynor. Now, these Adepts, there's a lot of pressure here on Classic to make this work. This is gonna be delaying Blink and delaying the mid-game tech, so this is quite committed here by Classic. He needs to trade, he needs to get damage done. But the last thing that Reynor's gonna be expecting right now is Adepts. As Reynor is keeping up with the Oracles with his Queens. Do we have a Roach Warren? We do not. Ooh, that is a 5-minute 45 Roach Warren. That is quite late, actually. Typically, we'd see a Roach Warren at around 5 minutes. So this has been delayed. And I would hope that Reynor could get away with it. And I think he could if it was Blink Stalkers. But because Glaive Adepts are coming, Reynor might be in some trouble. That's a lot of Adepts. And the Roach Warren isn't done. Oh, boy. I am very concerned here for Reynor. The Oracles are dragging the Queens out of position. Here come the Adepts. Lings, they get shut down. They do scout the Adepts, by the way. And we need an army. We need to make as many Roaches as possible. The Roach Warren still not done. Just now finishing. Lings are amassing. The Queens do deal with the Oracles at least, but here come the Adepts. They hit the third. They hit the third base, and there's nothing to defend. 7 drones go down instantly. And now we're shading towards the natural. There are a lot of Lings. But we could even commit. So we don't need to. We gotta kill the hatchery. The hatchery goes down. Ay, ay, ay. And the Roaches are finally on the way, but we have reinforcements coming out here for Classic. We shade in towards that natural. Lings are going down. Good kiting with the Adepts. Good kiting overall. At least the Roaches have it right, so we should eventually clean this up. We shade into the main base. still trading with the Adepts. Sorry, still trading with the Lings. Getting 5 drone kills. As the Oracle's going ham here at the 4th base. More Adepts have arrived. The drones is nowhere to go. No. They run into the Adepts, thankfully. I was going to say they're on A move, but no, we do target down some more drones. As we contain Reynor to 2 bases. And behind this, Classic is working on the next step. Charge is on the way, +1, Immortal production. Now this is going to trigger a counterattack. And remember, because it's Ghost River, it works both ways. You can be aggressive, the Protoss can, so can the Zerg. And we're all in. Makes sense. Reynor, he's completely all in. We're walling the Queens across the map, the Roaches, the Lings. It's all or nothing for Reynor. He does get off the ramp. Force Field's too late. Force Field is too late. Overcharge is popped. Barely keeping the Immortal alive. And the overcharge a little bit too good. Yeah, Classic, he forces back the army. Being lured out into the open. Queens are on the way. Do we have a Force Field? We do not. No Force Field available. Queens have arrived. Reynor, he can pull this off. It's all on the line. All on the table here for Reynor. Diving on top of the army. Gets the Immortal. Shield Battery does keep it alive though. Just barely. And reinforcements collapsing on the Queens. And Reynor is running out of steam. He's running out of roaches. Has to be careful. Oh, barely does get an Immortal. Big pickup. Immortal goes down. But we still have one more here at the 3rd. Shield batteries are out of energy. Boys have to be pulled. We may have to pull the probes. It's going to be close. The slow lots are coming in. Slow lots are coming in. We barely do not catch another Immortal. And Classic, it does feel like he's holding on. He's caught between 2 bases, but he has plenty of reinforcements. Another Immortal goes down. We're down to 1. We're down to 1, but charge kicks in. No. We have charge. We get on top of the Roaches. Efficient trade here from Classic. He just popped an overcharge, so he doesn't have another available. Not yet. But he has reinforcements. He takes down the Queens, takes down the Roaches. And Classic holds. Classic, he holds on, and you know what? Didn't lose any probes. That's what's impressive. He could have pulled the workers there to make it a little bit of an easier defense, but it would have cost him his economy, and doesn't lose a single probe here in the defense. Very impressive. Bled out 2 Immortals, 5 Stalkers, and 26 Zealots. Behind this, Classic, he's up 20 workers. He's working on a 4th base. Reynor, double expanding. Or taking a 3rd and getting a macro hatch, droning up as best he can. Reynor, he's not ready for a longer game. Not set up for one. And this is going to be a bit of an uphill battle for our Zerg player. Meanwhile, Classic, he's working on +2, working on Storm. Templar Archives is done. Prism is on the way, 4th base as well. And Reynor, he can't touch this 4th. That's the problem. Because of that trade, because of that fight, the 4th base is going to get up and running. Classic is looking solid. Now, Reynor could try and go for a secondary all-in. He's drawn up to 3 bases. He's drawn up to 68. He could try to cut workers here and max out on Lingbane Roach Ravager and try to catch the army out in the middle of the map. That is true. That is possible. Going for a straight-up macro game is going to be a little bit harder as we're going for a Zealot drop towards the natural. Reynor keeps up. Is in position. At the same time, Zealot run by towards the south, and likewise, Reynor has a handful of Lings, but that's not going to be enough. The Queen is exposed. There we go. Ling reinforcements do arrive, but this is still going to be a good trade for Classic. Oof. Yeah, the 1-1 Zealots, they clean up the Lings. At the same time, dropping to the main, getting 3 drones. Prism does take a lot of damage. It looks like the Prism is going to go down. Oh, big pickup. Very nicely done. Reynor shuts down the War Prism. At the same time, Ling drop into the main base. 6 probes go down. And this is the beginning. The beginning of a comeback. I don't want to say it yet. Like, Reynor still has some catching up to do, but that was very nice. Shuts down the Prism, gets 6 probes. The drop is still being active. We could even get some more probes here at the 3rd. And Classic is transitioning into Skytoss. Oh boy, that is a fleet beacon. And that, I believe, yep, is a second Stargate. This does make sense. Thankfully, we respond with a Hive and a Spire, getting ready for the eventual Skytoss. And I say this makes sense because I think that it's risky for Classic to push onto Creep to move out right now, especially if Reynor's going all in. Doesn't know whether he is or isn't. But there's no way for Reynor to break the 4th or to break the 3rd. There's no way for Reynor to really be too active right now. So why not just turtle up and go into Skytoss? And that's what's happening. You know, there it is. Carrier production has commenced, and Reynor can't really deny this. Thankfully, because of the early scouts, Reynor already has a Spire halfway done. So we're getting into a longer game. We're getting into the late game. Reynor, he has all the information he needs, is working towards Skytoss. Baneling drop here towards the south. Okay, I'm loving this. Even though Reynor can't push in with his main army, he can harass. And these Baneling drops can be difficult to keep up with. Classic does spot it though with those Zealots. Phoenix is repositioning. And does spot the Overlord. And Banelings, can we make it in? We cannot. Forced to unload. At least the Banelings will survive. But alas, we have plenty of cannons and Archon in position as well. Banelings, yeah, they won't be able to bust in. And Reynor's working on a Greater Spire. I'm on the fence about the Greater Spire. Part of me feels like it would be more important to prioritize +1 air attack and +1 air carapace. Upgrades, I mean, for the Corruptors. Just because Broodlords aren't going to be the most important thing, but regardless, we are going to be investing into them. The Broodlords will help against the ground army, and to be fair, I mean, that's quite a hefty ground army. We can't ignore it. We can't forget about it. That's a lot of Immortals, that's a lot of Storm, a lot of Archons. Broodlords will have their place against this. You also don't want to fall into the trap of overmaking Corruptors. We've seen many a Zerg player overmake Corruptors, be caught out without an anti-ground army, and like just a ground switch just kills them. It's happened before, it will happen again. So Reynor making sure he doesn't fall into that trap. So it's going to be going down. Baneling drop here towards the natural, and up. Do we get in? Up. Oof. Not quite. Classic does react in time. Mothership has arrived. -300, -300. Let's go. Ling Bane run back towards the 3rd base. We have carriers in position. We do have Cloak as well. But the Banelings, they still go up nonetheless. Manual detonations. 17 probes go down. Very nicely done. Again, really smart of Reynor to incorporate Banelings there. If it was only Lings, the Lings would have done 0 damage. But Banelings can be manually detonated, despite the Cloak. So very nice run by, but Classic has maxed out. Let's have a look at the armies. We have 4 carriers, the Mothership. How many High Templar? 6 High Templar, a lot of Storms, 8 Archons. A very well-rounded army here by Classic. And Reynor, he's going for counterattacks, going for run-bys. Hitting that southern base, forcing Classic to respond. Oh, the Artosis Pylon goes down. Artosis Pylon does fall. But Classic, he wants to keep on pushing, rotating towards the south. Towards these fringe bases. And what army is Reynor working with? We have 9 Broodlords. 9 Broodlords. 0 Corruptors. Uh-oh. That was a concern I had. 0 Corruptors here for Reynor. At the same time going for a Roach counterattack. Again, his goal here is to force the army to turn around. That's a lot of spores. That is going to be a lot of spores. Fungal does connect. Storm's going to be zoning back those Broodlords. And Classic, he's just mowing his way through. Cutting a path through the Zerg. The spores are doing what they can. The Queens as well targeting down the Mothership, and the Mothership will fall. At the same time, Roaches, they take down the base. How many Broodlords do we have left? We're down to 6. The Corruptors are falling one after the other. We're trying to reinforce. We take down the carrier. We have 2 carriers left. And it looks like Reynor, are we going to be able to hold on? We lose the base though. Base goes down. Classic has to back off. No interceptors. Didn't lose the carriers, but did lose his interceptors. Has to recall back home. And does defend against the roaches. And the roaches are going to be able to catch out some more units here. Carrier was not recalled. Big pickup. Carrier goes down. We catch the immortals. Very nicely done. At the same time, Prism gets across the map. Going to be able to harass at least somewhat with these zealots. Likewise, Corrupt is trying to camp the production. Going for the carriers. And can we take... No, we can't quite get the Stargate. Oof. Rough losses there for Reynor. But we're out of position. Classic, not where he needs to be, and he just recalled. Classic just recalled. Caught completely off guard with his pants down. The base is going to fall. And Reynor, he's in the driver's seat. He's just outmaneuvering Classic back and forth. Classic, he wants a main fight. That's the thing right now. He does have a stronger main army, I will say that. Which is why Reynor's going for just non-stop harassment. Another Ling run by being set up. Reynor knows he can't fight head-on. Classic knows he can. As we do pull back, we have a Spore Force ready. Really nice setup here by Reynor. And Lings, they catch an Archon. Big pickup. Archon goes down. Blink is not done. No blink in sight. Classic down to one base economy, essentially. Stuck long distance mining. Nothing in the main, nothing in the natural. The longer this goes on, the better it is for Reynor. As you see another Ling run by. Classic pushing in into the Spore Forest of all things. Good fungal. Broodlords are going ham. So those 6 Broodlords. Corruptors, they dive in. Good Storm zoning back the Corruptors. Lings, they catch the mineral line. They catch out all the workers. Probes are going down. Classic completely all in. And Reynor, he may have just done it. Big storms on the roaches. Oh, we do sit in the storms quite a bit there. And we're running out of interceptors. We are running out. Classic has to pull back. Doesn't have the biggest bank. Big storm on the army. Oh my god, massive storms. But is it enough? We dive on top of the carriers and we focus every single one down. And Reynor, he has done it. He cleans up the army. And he's fighting back in this series. GG gets called. Reynor fights back, putting a point on the board. GG. Let's go. GG, well played. Classic, he built up towards a death pool of an army. Remember, with the initial max out, Classic, he was looking insane. He was looking unstoppable. Look at the graph here. The red line is Classic. Classic, he had a massive supply lead. He had a maxed out army. But the counterattacks, the non-stop run-bys with Lings, with Roaches, with Banelings, it continued to force Classic back and back home. On top of that, even though Reynor was lacking in an army, he made up for it with Spores. He had massive Spore Force already set up preemptively. Whenever he pushed out, we had like a line of spores. We were able to shut down all the interceptors, able to defend, able to survive. GG. And yeah, Classic may be a little bit too trigger happy there. If he played a more slower defensive style, he would have had a little bit more success. 100%. 100%. He would have been less prone to... Oh. He would have been less prone to committing to these move outs, to being caught out and losing bases over and over again. Would have been more secure. And Classic maybe, yeah, just a little bit too excited in that game. And with that, we have a series. We have a series, Pappy. Let's go. We're getting ready for game number 4. Also, big shout out to Reynor because it was quite impressive to come back from that situation. It was a rough start for Reynor, and he was initially all in, if you remember. He was all in with Roach Queen, and he committed, and he did not kill Classic. That's why Classic got away with Sky Toss. That's why he was able to settle into 4 bases, but he never got his 5th. That's what's important. Never got the 5th base up and running. GG. And again, I would say that on the one hand, that was really well done by Reynor with the counterattacks. On the other hand, Classic, again, just a little bit too aggressive. Too aggressive there, and things got out of hand. And now we find ourselves in a series. We have a back and forth. We're getting into game 4. Let's go. Ooh, let us go. You say Rogue is back? He is. Rogue is back. He's been back for a month. He had been gone for so long, I didn't think he was coming back from the military. I mean, yeah, it's really great to see him back. He just finished up with the military, I think, over a month ago. Then he came back to StarCraft. It's been looking good. Has been looking good. Very impressive. Also, because there's no other choice for the third. Yeah, I did mention at the time, but specifically on Ghost River, it was Ghost River. Also, Oceanborn is a really rough, like alternate third location. So again, impressive that Reynor was able to bounce back the way that he did, and now we're getting into our next game. Getting into game 4 and spawning in the top left-hand corner of Site Delta, we have our South Korean Protoss player, the Red Protoss, representing Twisted Minds. It is Classic. Still one game away from becoming our champion this week, and spawning in the bottom right-hand corner with some momentum on his side, the Italian Zerg player, the Blue Zerg, representing Basilisk, putting a point on the board. Uno mas. One more win is all he needs to force the ace match. He needs your energy, he needs your support for an extended series. It is Reynor. Oh boy. Catching up in the chat. Catching up with the chat. It's over. Reynor had 2 times the armor supply at the beginning of the attack. I think you're referring to the all-in, right? The all-in at the third base. Yeah, I mean, it was impressive that Classic survived that. And again, like that's why things are looking dire for Reynor, right? Like Classic, he held on to the third. He was able to get into Sky Toss, got his 4th base, fully up and running. Got into, what was it, 6 carriers? It was crazy. Insane. Reynor comes back from this. He came back, Bobby. He came back. Crazy. Just like Rogue. Here we go. Ooh. As for now, Reynor's going for a standard opener. I believe just a hatch gas pool. Yep, hatch gas pool opener here from our Blue Zerg player. Meanwhile, Classic back at home going for a gate expand. Everything's looking normal for the time being. And the map itself a lot more normal as well. Doesn't have as many quirky features as the other maps have. Winding it back, remember, on Alcyone, Reynor rushed into the gold. On Crimson Court, Reynor rushed into the forward Rich Vesian Gas Geyser base. And on Ghost River, Reynor was punished and was having a hard time even getting his third up and running because of the short rush distance by ground. Here, the rush distance is a lot longer, the natural's a lot more secure, and you have options for your third base. Triangular third or linear third. So Site Delta has become one of the more standard maps in the map pool. But as we get into what's supposed to be a more standard game, Twilight Council opener. Once again. Classic going into a Twilight Council opener. With this, we can go into Glaive Adepts, we can go into a Dark Shrine. We are pulling out of gas. Glaives is going to be on the way. Now with 2 and 2, with 4 in total, this should be 4-gate Glaive Adept. This is not an all-in. It can lead into an all-in later on down the line, but for now, it is a way to get some economic damage done and to expand, take a third base, and get ahead. There's a gateway explosion. Again, we're going to be going up to 4 gates in total. Overlord is going to be denied. I believe Reynor did see the warp gate, so once again, as we've seen in a lot of these games, Reynor should be going for a 4-minute Roach Warren, at around 4 minutes. And Reynor's been pretty good at this. He's been pretty good at getting his Roach Warren on time whenever it's a Twilight Council opener. There's Glaives on the way, as I did mention. And there's our 4th gateway. There is that 4th gateway. Reynor is fanning out his Lings, trying to keep an eye on any third base or keep an eye on any Warp Prism as it moves out. There's that Roach Warren. This was thrown down a little bit earlier at around 3:55. Again, a solid timing for the Roach Warren, and it will be up and running in time for the Adepts. This is still going to come down to the execution of Classic. Again, because it's 4-gate Glaive Adept, he has to be very careful with how and when he shades. He cannot commit too hard. He cannot throw away the Adepts. If he does, his third is going to be non-existent. He won't be able to hold on to it. So we're going for the Overlord. Adepts are amassing. Reynor did spot some Adepts at least, and Lings are building up back at home. Reynor actually being proactive here, moving out with his Lings. Okay, bold move. Ooh, as Reynor will supply though for a moment. Adepts are moving out. At the same time, Lings are moving in. The Adepts, they are spotted. Reynor going for a counter attack. We do have a Stalker in the wall, but it's exposed. And the Stalker's going to go down. Forced to wall off. Where's that wall, by the way? There we go. We have a warp in. Meanwhile, across the map, Adepts, they shade in towards that third base. Lings are out of position. Uh-oh. Lings are across the map. The Queens are exposed. We focus down one of them. One Queen goes down. Roaches, they are amassing just in time. And we have not lost any drones, not yet. Prism gets into the main. Adepts, they shade into the natural. Drones are now falling. And the warp in is going to complete. The one Queen doesn't have enough DPS. The Prism will escape. And things are getting out of hand. We have Adepts in every single base, in the natural, the main, and the third as well. Drones are going down. 7 of them so far. But Reynor is calming things down. Gets across the map, forcing another defensive warp in. That does slow Classic down as he gets another Queen. And it looks like Reynor, he's defended. Yeah, Reynor's droning. He knows he's safe. Reynor, he is droning up. Adepts are forced back, and Classic should be looking to expand, but he is denied. Expansion is going to be delayed. And Classic is working on the next step. He's working on Immortal production. Whew, okay. As the dust does settle. Reynor, he's going to be able to re-drone. He did get knocked down to 38 workers. He did sustain quite a bit of economic damage. Looking at the units lost tab, it was 7 drones going down and 2 Queens. I would say this was a good trade for Classic as long as he doesn't lose the Prism. We'll get away. We'll get away. Where? Away. Look, it's 2 a.m. It's 2 a.m., Bobby. Oh, God. It's all falling apart. Bench would be nice. But he does end up getting away with that Prism. Does live to fight another day. Is going to be pivoting back in. Adepts, they head towards that natural. And Reynor, he is able to keep up. We have plenty of roaches in position. But what's scary to me is this army. We're going for a secondary push. We are getting a third, but it looks like this third is a fake out. Classic, he's cutting workers at 45. It's a 2-base all-in. Fake third base, 2-base all-in coming out from Classic, and if Reynor drones up too much, he's going to be in trouble. Does drone up to 54, but I think this is a good worker count to stop at. I don't think we've ever droned. We're amassing roaches, ravagers, lings. We do spot the army with the lings. Now, Reynor, he will hit the third, but again, there's nothing here to really hit. One probe goes down. Classic is all in. It's all or nothing for the Protoss. Reynor, he's got some ravagers. This is going to come down to the force fields. How good are the force fields going to be? Classic splitting up his adepts, going for a counterattack. Reynor going for a counterattack with his lings. Ooh, biles do connect. Big biles here. We shave off a couple of roaches. On the low ground. We're within range of the roach horn as well, but roach speed does finish. We throw down the force field. Zings, they come back home. Good pick off with the ravagers. The Immortal does get surrounded. Yeah, big pick off. Immortal goes down. But we're running out of lings and we're getting on top of the roaches. Classic is pushing through. You can see he wants that roach horn. And he's going to get it. Yeah, the roach horn's exposed. It does get picked off. No more roaches here for Reynor. We have 6 more on the way. But now Reynor, he can only reinforce with lings against adepts, by the way. We get some more sentries. Some more force fields. Eva chamber gets shut down. Do we have any ravagers? We have one. One ravager. That's not good enough. Force fields, they're king. How do we deal with the force fields? Yeah, we just cut off the roaches from the main army. We head towards the third base, and Reynor, he's in so much trouble. Yeah, he's got so much army just not doing anything. We can't. Another wave of force fields. just cutting Reynor off from his third. And the third base is going to go down. Once again, key force fields here. GG gets called. He cannot contest against this. And Classic will take the series 3-1, becoming this week's KungFu Cup champion. GG. GG, well played. A solid execution there out of Classic, going for the 2-base all-in. Remember, the third base was a fake out. Now, thankfully, I don't think Reynor fell for the third. Remember, he cut workers at 54. Again, he didn't overdrone. I don't think that anyway. The problem here was lack of Ravagers. Remember, at the start of the fight, he had 3 Ravagers, and in the first push from Classic, he was able to force field and catch 2 Ravagers immediately. Killed 2 of them, which meant that there was no answer. There was no answer to the force fields. He could just slice up the army, and Reynor could do nothing to stop Classic. Killing the Roche Warren was kind of the nail in the coffin there. As Classic snowballed out of control. So really good execution at a Classic. Reynor unfortunately didn't realize how sentry heavy it was. If he had realized that, then maybe we morph in some additional Ravagers just to have a fighting chance against those force fields. In the end, Classic was able to snowball out of control. GG, well played. Really good micro, really good execution there at a Classic. And he is going to be our first KungFu Cup champion of the season. Congratulations. Congratulations here. GG, well played. As a reminder, KungFu Cup is a seasonal weekly tournament. What I mean by that is it comes with World Team League. World Team League is starting up this week, so is KungFu Cup, which means we have 11 weeks. 11 weeks of KungFu Cup action. And then the season ends, WTL wraps up, and then we go Masters Coliseum. Masters Coliseum thereafter as well. A big shout out to SC Boy, the Chinese casters, the Chinese community really for StarCraft 2. They are the people behind World Team League, and they're the people behind KungFu Cup and Masters Coliseum and Stars War 11 and a lot of tournaments. They host a lot of events, and they even support a lot of players as well, so much love. Much love here to SC Boy. They do a lot for the scene, very passionate. And a shout out to not just Classic, but Reynor as well. Reynor, he may not be the champion this week, but he did well for himself making it to the finals, right? There's no shame in going down to Classic. Let's have a look at the run of our players here. Exclamation mark B. Exclamation mark B in the chat here if you want to have a look at the bracket. Reynor, to make it to the finals, he took down Clem 2-1. Fun fact, that one map that Reynor lost against Clem, Reynor played Protoss. He's crazy. he's lost his mind, man. GG. So Reynor, he even off-raced Protoss against Clem, and that was the game that he lost, but Reynor was looking solid against Clem in his ZvP. Reynor, he took down Nightmare. That was a close series, though. To be fair, that was a very close series. Nightmare, he almost took down Reynor in that best of 3, but Reynor takes down Nightmare. Reynor, he took down Lambo earlier on. You can see there in the round of 16, Reynor took down Lambo, and he also, just had a really solid run here tonight. Classic likewise took down Showtime, Spirit, and Oliveira. Ooh, and for Jumi. So that's quite again, quite an insane lineup here. And a shout out to all the other players that had a deep run as well. Showtime making it to the semis, Clem as well. Big shout out to Spirit. There was a big upset. Spirit took down Dark. If it wasn't for Spirit, maybe Dark would have been in the grand finals. There would have been a bigger run from him, but Spirit knocked Dark down early on in the tournament. DRG was here, Clem, of course, Skillus, Bunny, and many others. Again, that's what's great about KungFu Cup. Because the prize pool for KungFu Cup is so much larger compared to all these other tournaments, compared to all these other weekly tournaments, I should say, it brings together the best of the best. This tournament, it's more stacked than any of the ESL Open Cups, any of the regionals, Korea, America, or Europe. Again, those weeklies pale in comparison to KungFu Cup, and it's always great to see these regions collide, from Europe, from Korea, from Southeast Asia, from the Americas. Always good fun. Always good fun. And with that, we're done. It's 2:30 in the morning, papi. I would like some sleep. I would like it. So shout out to all the players. Thank you so much everyone for tuning in. Hope you all enjoyed yourselves. Hope you all had a great time. If you enjoyed the casting, consider following us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Discord. Again, we have a YouTube channel. We're streaming both on Twitch and YouTube. Reynor plays Zerg. Sometimes. Sometimes, Flappy. Yeah, we stream both on YouTube and on Twitch, so you can check us out there. If you missed out on some games, if you want to check out our VODs, YouTube has VODs available immediately under that live tab. So check out the live tab on YouTube, and you can catch up on all of our previous broadcasts. We're live on a daily basis here on the CranKy Ducklings, sometimes multiple times a day. And yeah, you know, it's available if you're interested. You can also support us on Patreon. You can subscribe on Twitch. You can subscribe on YouTube or become a member on YouTube. I think that's what it's called. So you can support us if you wish. Otherwise, thank you. Thank you for watching. Thank you for the support. We cast KungFu Cup on a weekly basis. And I did briefly mention World Team League. World Team League Code S returns this week. If you haven't heard of it, World Team League is basically the spiritual successor of Pro League. Spiritual successor. It does have an online portion. The group stage is online. Typically the playoffs are online, but I believe SC Boy plan on making the playoffs and offline finals. I believe that they plan on making like the last couple of playoffs offline instead. So big season here for WTL, big season for SC Boy, as they're gonna try and make an offline event happen. Do look forward to it. And yeah, World Team League, it's amazing, it's beautiful. The best of the best are gonna be facing off, and on Friday, World Team League returns. We should also be live tomorrow. I believe tomorrow is gonna be GSL. We're going to be going over the GSL qualifiers. We covered half of the GSL qualifiers yesterday, and tomorrow we're going to be covering the second half of the GSL qualifiers to wrap up and get ready for the next season of the Global StarCraft League. There you go. Otherwise, thank you for watching. Thanks so much for the support. I'm just catching up in the chat. Just tuned into the stream. There are more matches? No, we're done, Pappy. We're done. We just finished. Just wrapped up. GG Protoss. True. Should have stayed in Europe for better casting and sleeping schedule. I mean, I mentioned it at the time. I feel like European casters have it easy. When I was in Europe, it was so easy casting everything, to be honest. Like, even Korean events, even European events. Like, the only hard thing casting in Europe was the North American events. That was at a rough time slot. Everything else seemed pretty doable. It was easy, man. You are now. Thank you. Gonna get some rest. Thanks for the casting. Enjoy the rest of your day, everyone. Enjoy the rest of your day. We can't see them if you cover them up. Oh no. Este Einstein. So we'll see you tomorrow for GSL. Otherwise, thank you for watching. Thanks so much for the support. We'll see you guys next time. Until then, hasta luego. Ciao. Bobby, ciao. Hasta luego. See you tomorrow.